what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking with Leo Castillo, post commander with the Paso Robles VFW. Thanks for coming in, Leo.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah, well, tell me about you, Leo. Tell me a little bit about you. You have your military background. Tell me about that.
So I joined in September of 1999, before the war, if you will, and served for 22 years, retired about almost 5 years ago now. I earned my VFW status by being deployed to Iraq in 2003. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into the VFW, was after I got back from service. Wanted to give back, wanted to be a part of this club that everyone joined afterwards, but it's adapted and changed a lot since 2003.
How was that? Now, before joining the military, what did you do before that?
Oh, I was straight out of high school. I was 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 17 years old. Parents had a sign to let me go. They didn't want me to, but I did, luckily.
And you already knew which branch you wanted to go into?
Honestly, it was 99, and after the reduction in force and all the branches, not a lot of recruitment was happening at the time. I wanted to go Air Force, and they didn't want me, and that's okay. So Army was the next best thing, I guess. And I don't regret it now. I truly enjoyed my time with the Army. I did a lot of fun stuff, made a lot of great memories and friends, and some bad ones too, but you know, it all balanced out.
Was that experience in Iraq like what we see like on TV and stuff, or?
You know, it could be, depends on who you talk to. 2003 was a gnarly time. I think I got boots on ground 3 months after the war kicked off. It was a logistical nightmare, to be honest, if you think about it, as far as what was available, how ready the force was, how ready the force on ground was for us to be there and receive us. It wasn't as seamless as it should have been and could have been. It was pretty rough, you know, not having a functioning place to sleep, not having functioning toilets. I mean, we had porta-johns, but they weren't really that great when we first got there. Water, well, not water, but ice was a scarcity because, you know, it's hot. It's like 120 degrees and dusty, and so you're drinking hot, scalding water. That's why I don't really care for ice anymore unless it's in a cocktail, just because the temperature just was so hot. You just got used to it. You just had to.
How long were you there?
15 months.
Wow.
Yeah, we left without a date of returning. As now it's different, you know. Back then we were told we were leaving. We didn't know when we were coming home. Now they've gotten smarter about over the years, where it's, you know, you're at a 9-month deployment, a 6-month deployment, because they obviously saw that duration of time overseas affects the soldier, you know, the service member.
Mentally,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
really
the unknowing of not coming home, the what it does to families. Like, I was lucky to just be a single guy, didn't have kids or a girlfriend at the time, and so it was just me. But I deployed with a large group of folks that were average age was 35. I turned 21 in Iraq, so the average age, everyone there had kids or some had grandkids, so just different dynamic.
Wow.
Yeah, different dynamic for everybody. And now a lot of my peers I deploy with, they're dying off because they're older than me and they've been older than me, and kind of sad to see, you know, watching them get older on social media and then hearing about them passing. And
How does and I don't want to get, you know, real deep into, you know, the whole political stuff, but how does some of the soldiers that you were deployed with, how do they feel about now the military? I mean, there's been a lot of, you know, all kinds of reasons, but you know, there's no enlistment now. I think the enlistment is on the rise with I mean, how does everybody feel, kind of like the direction of the military and the support to the soldiers?
Well, if you think about it this way, service members who join are apolitical, right? Like, they're there to serve their country. Their boss is the president. You know, it's one of those things that, at least when I was in, you didn't really question what was going on and why we're fighting this war, or why are we getting deployed to here, or why are we doing this. It's like you just follow the orders. You do what you're told. I think we have a new generation of service members that ask a lot more questions, and get a little bit more combative with their wanting to serve and support. The dynamic is very different now, and you see it in the civilian industry as well. It's not just in the service industry as far as military service. I do feel that there is support for our service members. I do think that the best time when we were supported was the day after 9/11. I think that was the most patriotic
I agree.
I've ever seen our country, and it was beautiful. I think we're in a very different place now, but as far as support for the troops go, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I feel like we're still seeing that support from both sides and from the community, and I think that's what's important.
What was the biggest lack of item that you had when you were there for the 15 months?
I didn't have a bulletproof vest. They gave us these old Vietnam flak vests that would only stop shrapnel if it hit you at a certain speed and if you were a certain distance from, say, wherever the explosion would have been.
Really?
Yeah. Hearing, I'm wearing hearing aids. Okay, so I didn't have ear pro for probably 3 months of the time there.
Ear pro is what?
Ear protection, just like little ear protection.
Ear pro.
Yeah,
Sure.
eye pro as well, lacking there. And you have to remember, it's 2003. There hadn't been a mobilization like that, of that capacity, in a very long time. So they weren't ready for us to send off that many folks and in that capacity. So yeah, we were lacking some stuff, definitely lacking.
Wow, that's interesting to hear.
I didn't talk to my family for months when I first got there because there was no internet, there was no cell phones. You just wrote letters, and then when you got a chance to drop off the letter, you'd send it off, and then you'd hopefully get a letter in a couple months or weeks, just depending on the level of urgency that the mail workers are working in.
So the 15 months you wore that Vietnam.
Yeah, I mean, let's say there's probably 2 months before and 1 month after of demobbing, where you're back in country, out of theater, but the rest was in theater. So obviously not the entire time was I wearing the flak vest, but then again, it's one of those things. It was very.
But that was your protection.
Yeah, that's all you really had. I mean, I didn't get a bulletproof vest until, it was like 6 months in probably.
Wow.
Yeah. And we drove trucks. It's called a HET. It's like a big semi truck, if you will, hauling tanks in the beginning. And then after all the tanks were in place, then we hauled equipment, connexes, brought people in from different units, engineers, taking them all over the country. So you're a giant moving target.
Wow, man, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't like driving very far. I don't enjoy it. It really ruined my love for driving. I literally don't go past Templeton if I could help it. And if I travel far away, I try to fly just because it messes with my PTSD, and it's bad for my back. I've had 2 back surgeries, so I just don't enjoy the driving anymore.
What can you tell us what'd you say the post what'd you say?
Oh, demob. So
Yeah.
So after deployment, and mind you, they've gotten better about how they demob soldiers and service members. When you come back, you're not supposed to just go back to your families like right off the shoot. There's supposed to be a process. You sign out.
So Leo, this means like you're out, or you're
back from deployment. So they want to out process you from that deployment.
Right.
Whether it's paperwork, it's medicals. You're getting looked over, checked, asked questions about your mental health, your physical well-being. Support for your transition back to home life, whether you're an active service member or you're a reservist or National Guardsman, just to get you ready to go back. They call it yellow ribbon now, and they actually bring the families into it as well to kind of assist the families to understand, like, hey, Mama's been in charge for a year and you've been gone, Dad. And so like, you got to understand, like, Mama has a routine now. You got to find that middle ground where, okay, now I can take over this. Okay, I can come back in my role as whatever that role is for that household. If Dad was the guy that ran the finances and paid the bills and, did this, did that. Now Mom was doing it because Dad was gone. you have to find that sweet spot where you can kind of transition back into some normalcy of what it was like before you left. So that's really hard. And, a lot of people come back. Sadly, there's domestic violence disputes. There's disagreements. There's frustration. There's obviously PTSD. You haven't laid in the same bed with this person for a year. You don't know what they're going through, what they're dealing with. So, and then you got children, in the mix too. They may not be as excited to see you. They may feel a little bit of abandonment. Depends on the age too. Some kids might not even remember. Some kids remember too well. It's really hard. It's a huge transition is a huge piece of the military.
That's probably a lot of, us as civilians don't see that or don't know that.
No, correct.
And I know we've had you and Aaron on before talking about, the soldiers and the MWR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And different things that, a lot of things are not known.
Right.
As far as like what you just said, what soldiers deal with, that is completely just jaw dropping that you didn't have, eye, ear, bulletproof protection.
Yeah.
And you're going into combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because we see stuff, on TV and said, oh, they're fully, that wasn't the case.
Yeah. And just remember, it was 2003. Literally hitting ground 3 months after the war kicked off. And it's a large unit. We were 300 strong, So it's a lot of, and that's just one small, minute piece of the fighting force that was there at the time. So I wasn't the only one. I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, that had lacking, in some capacity.
So you joined in 1999.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, you were deployed to Iraq. And then you have a total of 15 years?
22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
So what did you do after you came back from Iraq?
I came back and I was on my way out. So I wanted to join. I still wanted to be a part of the military, but wasn't sure if I wanted to continue active duty service. So I joined the Army National Guard in California. So that's one drill a month, which is a weekend. And then
weekend warrior type stuff?
Weekend warrior. So 2 weeks out of the year. And I did the civilian sector thing for probably a year. And I hated it. I missed it. I missed the military. And I hopped back on orders and was able to get on active orders through the National Guard for a good period of time, and then eventually got into the AGR program, which is Active Guard Reserve. And then I finished out my career with that. So it's the same exact thing as active duty, except instead of being an active component of the federal government, you are an entity of the state that you belong to, with overhead and governance from federal levels as well. So if the governor wants to send us on a fire mission to help out CAL FIRE or react to a natural disaster or support martial law, we're at the whim of the governor. If the president calls us up, same thing. We do what the president says as well. So you got two bosses.
And that's an interesting thing that you just mentioned, being that we're in the state that we are, with, military being activated to go into cities with this chaos.
Correct.
And, would you have thought 15 years ago that we'd be in the state we are in the country with being active military, reserve military in cities, fighting, or I shouldn't say fighting, controlling the chaos?
I feel like we've seen it before, right? With the Rodney King riots, the National Guard was called up for that.
True.
And then there was also a time, I think, during Nixon's period of time, he also called up the National Guard. But I think the soonest I could recall was the Rodney King, as far as my time, when I was alive and could remember. So it was an interesting thing to see as a kid, like not understanding and never really explained to me at that time. Could I see it happening? Yeah, just because of history, but to the level that it's happening now, obviously, as a guardsman being called up by the president without the governor's permission, that's kind of a wonky thing, and it's unsettling for a lot of folks. and kind of like we're kind of confused. You know, it's kind of an interesting thought because normally it goes where you work with the governor of that state to activate, but you know, ultimately as a military service member, you do as the boss says. You don't really question it. So
And the president's the ultimate boss. You have
Correct.
an underboss,
yeah,
should you say.
yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah, and that activation lasted a long time, and it affected us here at Camp Roberts. You know, all those guardsmen came through Camp Roberts to go down to LA, and you know, we could only support them to a certain extent because different funding codes. They're being called up by the federal government. That's a Title 10 service member now. If you're being called up by the governor, that's Title 32. So could the Title 10 guys get fuel from our fuel point? No, it's federal funded. So like they need to pay for that. It's a different pot of money. It was chaotic. I enjoyed putting out fires like that. So that was a lot of fun for me at the time during in the department that I work in now. Housing, we were able to house them while they were there getting amped up and ready to head down south. So we were able to house them for that. But supplies and things like that, that's all federally funded, so a different code.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Leo, what have you been doing since your retirement from the military?
I wish it was a whole lot of nothing, but it's not. I joined the VFW when I got back from Iraq in 2004. And my first impression, which was kind of the norm, was a dinky little dive bar, a couple old guys, you know, they might barbecue, they might have, you know, bingo night. So I just thought, how fun, just go have a couple cheap drinks and, you know, play bingo. But it wasn't that. It depends what post you go to. You know, every post is very different, very unique to their area. I didn't have the best experience with the first post I went to in Southern California. So I kind of just forgot. And I was a member, but just not an active member. And that's the beauty of the VFW is you make it what you want to make it. If you want to be one of those members that goes to every meeting, that's awesome. If you want to get involved with the events that they host, that's great. If you don't want to do any of that, you just want to have a membership because you believe in the organization, that's okay too. That's how I tell anyone I recruit to be a part of the VFW is you make it what you want. If you got time, great. If you don't, that's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you. So when I moved up here, I got stationed up here at Camp San Luis Obispo from Southern California. That's when I started hearing about the VFW in the area. A friend of mine who, well, now it's like a very close friend of mine, Sal Coda, he was introduced to me and then we started talking. He asked me to come see the post. I went to the post. He asked me because I was a recruiter in the Army at the time. He asked me if I would be a recruiter for the VFW. We lost a lot of members in 2020 due to COVID. Our post was pretty elderly in age. So we lost, I want to say 15 people in the year and a half, maybe that was, you know, at its highest point. So recruitment was big, and it's always a big topic for every state commander for the VFW and the national commander for the VFW. It's always a push. So I became the recruiter. Within a few months, he wanted to switch. He says, do you want to be the commander and I'll be the quartermaster? And basically the quartermaster is the books guy. He's the accountant. He is, you know, the CFO, and he manages all that, the agenda, the meetings. He knows all the traditions. It's really like the cornerstone of the organization as a whole. The commander is just there for show. And he knows that I like people. He knows I like to talk a lot. He knows I have connections in town. He's like,
great for you.
He hated that side of things, and I don't mind that side of things. And I hate the accounting piece, and he loves the accounting piece. So we basically switched. So I became the commander. He became the quartermaster, and he's killing it. He's doing a wonderful job, and we've done a lot of really great things in the past 5 years that we've been doing this together.
Now, the VFW is the Veterans Foreign Affairs.
Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Veterans of Foreign Wars, which you guys are located over there off of Creston Road in Paso Robles.
Yeah, 240 Scott Street.
Right across the street from the big...
Yeah, there's the Sherwood Park, there's the baseball field, there's the soccer field, and there's the senior center and the dog park.
And you guys do, I believe, burgers on
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
So the American Legion, they host the Burger Thursdays. That's their jam. Every Thursday they do burgers. They open their bar. They own the liquor license to the bar. The Legion does. So the VFW doesn't partake in the bar at all because it's theirs.
So there's a bar over there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Only open on Thursdays and at lunchtime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you can go up, get a pint or, a glass of wine if you want, and get a burger on a Thursday. And they're pretty busy. They do a good job. And so we don't have the liquor license, so we don't have to deal with the nightmare that is owning a bar. And,
Right.
And they're a low level, 1 day a week thing. So it's not even like it's a huge ordeal. Not like a lot of the other canteens in the state that have a full bar and a lot of attendance and do live music or food. And, they're a lot busier, obviously.
So Leo, how does somebody so you've been with the VFW in Paso Robles for the last, what do you say, 5?
Yeah, 5, 6 years.
5 years. You're the post commander. So now your job, or I'm sorry, the future of the VFW's idea is to bring in more members.
Yeah.
Get the word out.
Yeah.
That there's these organizations like yourself. And then you guys also partake in helping other events happen, correct?
So we do a lot. And the whole focal point of recruitment and membership for VFW is because our World War II veterans are passing. If a lot of them have passed. Our Vietnam era veterans are, next Korean War veterans. So we're losing a lot of our membership and trying to backfill those members and also keep some of that tradition alive by learning from them. It's hard. And, we have the Afghani and Iraqi wars that, they're all my age, if not a little younger. So getting them to join an organization like the VFW, it's not always appealing to them. A lot of them still have young families. They don't have the time. They don't want to make the time. They don't see a value in it, as our World War II, Vietnam, Korean veterans probably saw a value in it. We've changed as an organization, so we have to change with it, right? We can't just, we're just having this meeting. It's just a canteen. We're just having drinks. It's just bingo. No, we got to come up with other ideas. We got to do more things. We got to do things for the community. And the VFW has always done things for the community. That's not anything new. One of the things that we do annually is essay competitions for 6th through 8th grade. That's called Patriots Pen. And one is called Voice of Democracy, and that is for 9th through 12th graders. And it's a scholarship program. So basically they write an essay. That's for the Patriots Pen. The Voice of Democracy is they record themselves speaking the essay. And then they get judged at the post level, which for middle school, it's $150. For high school, it's $500. And then if they win post level, they go to district. That's about $1,000 for the winner.
And you're talking these are scholarships?
Correct.
Okay.
And then if they make it past district, they go to state, which is about $3,000 to $5,000. And then if they make it past state, they go to national. That's $35,000 scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
and what's the requirements for the essay?
So the essay is a patriotic topic every year.
Whatever they want.
And no, they put it out every year, the different topic.
Oh, okay.
This year is what have you done lately as a patriot, or what have you done lately to show your patriotism? So however that student decides to write that essay, and then the different judges that we bring on to read them will dictate which one moves forward.
When is that?
The deadline is actually October 31st. And if you go to our website, go to our social media page, you can see the QR code there, and it's Voice of Democracy or Patriots Pen. And it's available to anyone in this county, anyone in the states.
What type of entries do you guys get, annually?
Well, for a long time, because before myself and Sal, it was hard to get people to submit. Paso School District wasn't very involved in the past. I'm on the board there now, so it's easy for me to help that process a little bit and nudge and help ask them to please share this. So they have. We've had a couple of views. I think we've had 50 so far, which is a lot larger than last year's.
I mean, that seems probably, pretty normal for different organizations, because there's a lot of organizations that grants go ungiven or scholarships go ungiven because they just haven't have a lot of, people to give to.
And sadly, a lot of kids don't want to write an essay, even if it's for $150. So
Well, now you got that Chat GPT,
so
you're going to be probably getting some all kinds of cool ones this year. Now, do you guys sit down and read those together?
Correct. We try to bring outside entities also to help judge, so it's not just VFW members reading them. I have a list of people I'm going to invite actually today because our cutoff is the 31st. So ask them to come and judge.
So Leo, what are some of the other? I know we're going to get to the VETS and vibes there here at the end, but what are some of the other events that you guys put on and that you guys have done, like for the community in the past?
So we always host the Veterans Day service out at the cemetery. That's one of our annual events that we coordinate with the Paso Cemetery. Obviously, the VFW runs the one at the Faces of Freedom on that same day. And then the Legion, they do the Memorial Day. So we kind of flippy-flop. We are doing a taco takeover mainly, I want to say 8 months out of the year right now. And what that is us as an organization going to a veteran-owned business, and we give away free street tacos to any active duty or veteran, no cost. All they got to do is support this little business. So if it's a winery or a brewery, which it's been in the past, go buy a pint, you get your free tacos. Thank you for supporting this veteran-owned business. And then, if civilians want to partake in eating the tacos, they could just make a donation. We always put out there a donation between $1 and $100. You choose. We don't push. It's like if you want to make a donation, make a donation. And it's copy paste every single time. Myself, I make the tacos. It's literally just a street taco. It's carnitas. It's cilantro, lime, a wedge of lime, cilantro, onion, and a green salsa. Get. That's it. That's all you get. And it's depending on the event, I'll either give out 2 to 3 tacos per person. It's a good size taco and it's delicious, if I do say so myself. And it's supporting that veteran-owned business is ultimately the goal.
What a great idea.
Yeah, well, it takes us away from the hall, and we love our building. We're very thankful for having a building that we do have. But why not have it at, like we just did, the last one we did was at Gary Eberly's place at Eberly Wines. He's not a veteran, but we wanted to do something there because he is the biggest supporter of veterans in the county as a winery, in my opinion. And he also gives a 40% discount to any military or veteran for wine purchases, which is huge. So it's better than industry discount. So for me, we wanted to do something there. We made $800 that day in donations. And we gave out, I want to say 200 tacos.
Wow, what a great thing. I mean, and when's the next one, Leo?
Well, with the holidays coming up, we're probably not going to do one. November is a very busy month for us. Okay. And obviously then December. So we're going to probably pick up in January. We are looking for other veteran-owned businesses. I have a couple in the queue, but I haven't decided which one's going to be January yet. But if anyone knows of a veteran-owned business and they want us to come by, and we set up everything. We bring everything. We do everything out of the commercial kitchen at the Vets Hall. We bring it to that location. We set up. We serve. All you got to do is come eat. So,
do you have a list or anything that tracks, like, say, veteran businesses in the North County? Like, somebody can go to a link that you guys have and, hey, these are all veteran-owned businesses.
We do have something like that. In fact, we were talking about it a couple months back how we need to post that on our website. It seems to be something that pops up every Veterans Day and every Memorial Day online. People start to share, like, so those guys on active duty can go get their discount. I think that's kind of like what it is. But we don't have an actual list like that. I think it's something that we could definitely put together that needs to be on our website.
I just really think it's interesting, the North County, of how many veterans and how many active and retired, veterans that we have in the North County alone.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to go to say that we're a military community, but I mean, we kind of
we are. If you have to think about it, you have Camp Roberts, which was historical for the fact that it was the largest basic training site in the country at one point, with 40,000 soldiers at one point. And again, like we mentioned earlier, some of them never left. Some of their families moved here to be closer to them and then never left. And then you still have that base, which is still, bringing people in. There's a lot of people that work there that live here in the community. Then when they retire, they stay here in the community. Then you have Camp San Luis Obispo. That's only 30 minutes away. Then you have Lemoore. People drive out to Lemoore and live here. And then you have people that drive from Fort Hunter Liggett to their home in Paso. I mean, and then you have Vandenberg. I was stationed in Vandenberg, and I drove from work to home in Paso for 2 years. So we are in the Central Coast, this weird hub of military compilation, which is great. And I feel like because of the North County at the time being less expensive than South County, now we're kind of not,
Right.
Was another draw to that military community, being able to purchase a home here, raise their family here.
Oh, it's such a crazy. I mean, you see the old veterans, World War II, they're Vietnam. I mean, they're proud to wear those
Absolutely.
hats,
Absolutely.
which is awesome. And the community support to them is awesome. And so, what more does the VFW need, from the community? How can somebody get involved and help more for what you guys are doing?
So we are doing this thing now that's been pretty helpful. We use this app called Zephy, and it's built for nonprofits. And you can subscribe to donate a monthly donation, kind of like NPR does when they do their monthly donations. We have people that donate $5 a month. That's it, $5 a month. Automatic comes out of your account, goes into the Zephy app, and we get all $5, and they don't get charged a service fee. Or they get charged a service fee, but it doesn't deduct it from our donation.
Okay.
And that little $5 donation, if I have 10 people doing that, I mean,
Adds up.
That adds up. And then we have a couple people that donate $100 every month. So that's something that you can go onto our website and look into donating. If you have a military service member in your life that's passed on and you want to do something in memoriam of them, we do a little for this much money, you can post it and we'll have it on our website, and it's on a banner. So it's constantly rotating and in support of or in memory of. So we do stuff like that. We are doing since we had this city proclamation last night at City Council, which we're really gracious and thankful for, we requested that they recognize veterans for the month of November, not just the day.
Absolutely.
So the mayor read last night a proclamation announcing that November be known as Veterans Month here for the city of Paso. And we're kicking that all off with a bunch of events. We have an Edo Pasta dinner at Edo Pasta on the 3rd of November. It's a Monday night. Edo is doing this charity Monday night dinner thing. So anyone that has a nonprofit that wants to give back, they want to give back. So they give back 10% of their proceeds that night. All you got to do is market it, get people there. So we have that on the 3rd of November. And then we have our Vets and Vibes event, which we'll go into in a second. But the whole point of this is, I was mentioning earlier, we don't have a memorial in our area in Paso to honor our fallen. And so we're in talks with a local artist, Max Rudolph. I believe you probably have heard of him. He's created a couple pieces here in the area, and he is a visionary. He's a storyteller. He's a cool guy. And we want something that's not just stagnant, that's not just this wall with plaques. We want something kind of interactive. At our location at Veterans Park, located behind the Vets Hall at 240 Scott Street, there is an old playground that was removed, and now it's just a big sand pit. We've already talked with the city. We've already started the works of what that's going to look like. It's going to cost a lot of money. And that's where a lot of these fundraising events, that's going to start feeding into that capital campaign, because it's going to probably cost us like 70 grand, and that's being on the low end. And because it's going to be what the idea that I personally have, but we're going to have about 3 different examples or ideas before we vote on one, is a tree. Max did this fantastic tree at the San Antonio Mission up near Fort Hunter Liggett. It's an old oak tree, but he made it out of steel and iron, and all the leaves of this oak tree are copper. And all the donors that donated to this rehab of the San Antonio Mission, they stamped it with their name on that copper leaf. And it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. So I want something very similar, but I thought weeping willow tree, and using dog tags, because every service member for every branch gets dog tags. And every dog tag can be placed with their name and show their time in service. and we want to build that in the back in our property at Veterans Park. So that's going to cost a lot of money, but that's where a lot of our big fundraisers are going to go towards, as far as paying the bill.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably get a lot of, community support and help from that too. Just local businesses. That support, the local veterans.
And we're looking for sponsors, whereas their name could be attached to certain things. We're going to have every branch of service flagpole around the actual monument itself, obviously along with the American flag and the state flag. And then if any business wants to sponsor a pole and the cost of that's one way of supporting us and helping us out. And again, it's not just for us as veterans to go and see this place. It's in a park, children will see that, kids will be around because there's Sherwood Park's right next door. Families will walk by. It's meant to be interactive. It's meant to be a place of reflection.
And Leo, people can get more information, VFW post 10965.org.
Correct.
So you can figure out a way to donate, volunteer.
Correct.
And you guys list your events of what's coming up right there as well.
Yes, and you'll see our social media handles on there as well. We're on Instagram and we're on Facebook.
You guys stay pretty active on it?
Yeah.
Keep it up to date.
Instagram is probably the most active one. Facebook, we try to mirror the same. But Instagram tends to be one that we're trying to grow because of our age group has now changed from being a little elderly to a little bit more my age and a little older than that. So they're a little bit more user savvy, and that's kind of that generations of this is where I get my information.
Right.
We still share a lot on Facebook, but Instagram's kind of been the one that we're trying to push a little bit more out on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Leo, tell me about this Vets and Vibes coming up in November.
So Vets and Vibes is a celebration and reaction to the city acknowledging November as Veterans Month. So we wanted to kick it off with a big party. We're doing a Sunday Fun Day at the Vets Hall. It's going to be inside the hall and outside the hall. We're blocking off part of the parking lot, and we're going to have a cornhole competition. There's a cornhole group that they're all over the place. I don't know if you've seen them at Barrel House. They go to the Expo Center. They're all over the place, and they have a pretty fun following. It's open to the community. It's open to the public. It's free. It is veteran focused, but it's not veteran only. We have 2 food vendors that'll be there. We have Carnales Tacos, which they're partners of ours that go to the Vets Hall and set up shop every Friday, and they donate every single Friday back to the Vets Hall, a percentage of their earnings.
Oh, wow.
Every single Friday. And they have a huge following, and they are wonderful people, and their tacos.
What was their name again?
Carnales.
Carnales.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see them on our website and our Instagram. Every Friday, they'll be there this Friday. And they are lovely people, and they donate right back to us every single time. And it's great. Then we have Yabba Dabba Dogs there because Bill's just a great guy. And we're going to have resource booths. The VA will be there. The county office will be there. A couple other opportunities for jobs, employments, education benefits, resources for veterans and their families, some fun stuff for the kids, face painting, and also we're going to have music playing and, beer and wine for purchase. $5 pints of Cal Coast beer and $5 glasses of wine from Volatus, both veteran-owned companies.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, so this November 9th from 11 to 3 at the VFW in Paso.
Veterans Memorial Hall, only because we share it with the Legion.
Veterans Memorial Hall in Paso, across the street from, what's the park again?
It's Sherwood Park.
Park.
It's next to Sherwood Park, but across from the new pickleball court area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is all happening. It's free to attend. Food vendors, music, resource booths, which we all know, talking, with the military, like Kendra, that there's a lot of unknowns, and a lot of these retired military men and women that are not getting the services that they deserve. Right. And they feel like it's almost like taken away from somebody else when it's not. Correct. That stuff is there for you to take and you to take only.
Absolutely. They should definitely take advantage of having this opportunity and finding out what's out there, finding out that there's something that you might have missed. There's a lot of recovery facilities and retreats that are offered that a lot of us never knew about or know about. And there's no shame in asking for help or assistance or support. And we're just truly trying to push that to the
awesome.
not just to the service members, but also to their families as well, because they've gone through it too.
So can somebody join? They have to have either themselves or a family member that was overseas.
So
Foreign
to be
wars.
part of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, you have to have deployed to a location that was a combat zone or receive combat pay. As far as being a member, if you're married or your parent was a military person, you can be a part of the American Legion and still support both organizations. And then we also have an auxiliary. We don't have an auxiliary for the VFW currently. It disbanded about 12 years ago. We're trying to bring one back up. So if anyone wants to be a part of the Veterans of Foreign Wars auxiliary, get in touch with us. We'll be happy to help
Awesome.
get you on the list.
And they can find you on Facebook,
Correct.
more so on Instagram.
Correct.
And what is that? What's that handle?
It is
VFW
at VFW. Let me make sure I get it right.
1096.5.
It
Post.
is VFW _ Paso _ Robles.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And or you can go to the website VFW Post 10965.org.
Correct.
Find out some more information. But we've got events coming up. Vets and Vibes, November 9th, 11 to 3. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the Veterans War Memorial Building.
Correct.
Across from
Sherwood Park.
Sherwood. Why do I always forget that?
Think about Robin Hood.
I know. Gosh, I
Sherwood
always
Forest.
forget that. So cornhole competition, food vendors, music, resource booths, beer and wine is going to be there for purchase.
Correct.
And you can get all your questions and
we're
answers.
doing door prizes because we want to just, everyone that shows up is going to get a ticket and they can drop it in the hat. We're going to mix it up and it's going to be an experience like a...
So people can win things.
People can win things. And that's the best part.
So if somebody wants to donate
Yeah.
$5 gift certificate,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
There you go.
we're actually currently looking for anyone that owns an Airbnb in the area. We're trying to put together a little staycation basket, an experience. We have a restaurant that's going to donate to us for a night out. We're going to get some wine tastings. Maybe an Airbnb is what we're looking for right now to raffle off with restrictions. Obviously, you could have some blackout dates. We're not worried about that. And kind of give back to the community, whether it's a veteran or a community member. We just want to do something nice, an acknowledgement and thanks to the community for being so supportive and acknowledging November as Veterans Month.
Awesome. Well,
That's a big deal.
Leo, that's huge.
Yeah.
To get that passed by the city and have the overwhelming support of that.
Yeah.
Not just a day, which we all know that the veterans deserve more than every day is Veterans Day. Really.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're here for it. And one last thing I keep forgetting, I always forget to talk about it, I don't know why, but the VFW also has the biggest seat at the table when it comes to advocating and Congress. So we have a legislative committee. Every state has a legislative committee for the VFW, and they go out in March and they go out in the fall and they go talk to congressmen and women about the things that veterans are needing and wanting, or they advocate for them. So everything from VA support. Currently, I'm on the team with 6 other members, and we go out to DC. We talk to our representatives, let them know that these are the bills that we want you to support, or can you co-sponsor? These are the things that veterans are looking for, needing, wanting, and then we hope that they listen and we hope that they push for these bills, and a lot of them are, and that's kind of a big thing that no one really knows that the VFW does. But one last boring thing that no one really wants to travel to DC all the time, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a great time. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Leo, thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate your service, and I appreciate your continued service.
Thank you.
For these veterans and all of our military men and women, because
Thanks.
God knows they need it and they need more support. And, for people like you and your organization that, continues the fight away from the fight.
Yeah. And we're still serving. It's kind of our organization's national hashtag is still serving, because that's what we all do.
Awesome.
So
Coming up November
9th,
11 to 3 at the
VETS Hall.
That's all in Pass Robles across from Sherwood Park.
Correct. 240 Scott Street.
Awesome. It'll be fun.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it, guys. You guys looking for something to do? Vets and Vibes coming up November 9th, 11 to 3. Paso Robles over there by Sherwood Park, the Vets Hall. And make sure that you guys remember that all of November now is recognized in the city of Paso Robles as Veterans Month, which is a huge, huge thing. And we couldn't be more proud of this taking place. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Custom, MGP Coating, Premier Ag, Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borho and Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Templeton Heating and Air. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time. When it comes to comfort, trust the team that's been keeping the North County homes cozy since 1995. At Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning, they're your hometown pros right here in Templeton. From tune-ups to repairs, remodels to new construction, even duct replacements and attic ventilation, they got you covered. Call your neighbors at 805-434-3741. Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning. Local, trusted, dependable.
Hi, I'm Glenn McWilliams.
And I'm Annie. As sixth-generation farmers, we understand what it takes to keep a ranch, a farm, and a community growing strong.
And that's why we started Premier Ag to bring quality feed, trusted Western wear, and real service to the Central Coast.
From hay delivery across the county to hands-on support for local youth and ag programs, we're proud to give back to the community that raised us.
And when we say from seed to stable, we mean it. We've walked the fields, we've fed the animals, and now we're here to serve families just like yours.
Come visit us at 1041 Paso Robles Street in Paso Robles and experience the difference of a store built by farmers for farmers.
From seed to store, where quality meets country.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Looking for a top quality concrete coating in SLO County? Hi, I'm Matt Gifford with MGP Coatings, your trusted local expert in durable, long-lasting concrete coatings backed by Pentec's limited lifetime warranty. Whether it's residential or commercial, we deliver expert craftsmanship, premium products, and unbeatable customer service. When we say we make concrete great again, we mean it. As a locally owned, community-driven company, we take pride in transforming garages, patios, pool decks, wineries, and even interior spaces into stunning, functional areas. Are you ready to upgrade your space? Give us a call at 805-952-5301. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or visit mattgiffordpainting.com. Join the MGP Coating family today.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.